It's game time.
Yeah, we're late now.
Yeah, that gives time until the clerk time gets here.
Yeah, once she gets back here, I have to turn that off. Ready? All right. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. I don't know why. I never did in school.
I don't think there's any laws about that. I have felt deep. All right,
So.
call to order. Tim,
Here.
Annie,
Yes.
Justin.
Here.
Do we have any council people on a conference call?
Brad, make it, and then there's Brett.
Okay, and Brett is here. Brett?
Yes.
You're being called.
Yeah,
It's just that phone on the conference call. We have no members of the public right now.
I thought somebody came on. Nobody came
I
on?
think that was
That's you guys.
That was us. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Okay, good enough. Okay, now we're going to adopt the agenda. I had a question from Dakota about if we were gonna put out the meadow yet. We had people put in bids on that. Have we had anybody else?
So we have one that's, yes, we have one more, but he hasn't turned it in yet. But he said he was interested, but Mike was gonna talk to him, so. I don't know. It's up to you guys.
Okay, can we, Dakota needs to know because she has to make arrangements. So not this meeting, but maybe the next meetings. Can we set a deadline on that? Cause it shouldn't they be cutting that pretty
That's what I
soon?
was thinking.
Yeah.
With Prairie, I mean,
Yeah, because I
sometime
would think
soon.
before 4th of July.
Only cut it once. Is that what we decided?
You said twice.
Yeah.
Which I don't think you would even want to point.
All right, I think that, cause he did call you and he did say he was gonna talk to Mike. So the next meeting would be
Yeah, 3 weeks. We've got a 5th Monday this month.
that's after the 4th of July. Okay,
13th.
to me, the desire would be to have that meadow cut. If it's ready to go, it should be cut so that if anybody does fireworks or something, we don't burn the pasture, burn the meadow off. That's what we like to do with our bromas. We like to cut it.
Did we have a
So
deadline on it?
we did not
We
put a
did not put a
deadline on it. But it's been 3 weeks. Now, we can wait for that other person. And do we want to say that whoever it is, if they're, depending on what they bid, whoever's the highest bidder gets it? Is that how you would do it?
In most cases, yeah, probably. I mean,
Or, yeah.
unless you thought the person totally wasn't capable of doing the job. I mean,
What do you want to do? Do you want to do that now or do you want to wait until after the 4th of July?
Well, why don't we just go ahead and approve whoever has the highest bid and get this other person's bid and we don't have to be in
And with that,
session.
and then you could leave it to, yeah, because I'm pretty sure whoever puts in for it will be distant. A good one. All right, go ahead. Now I need a motion for that.
Well, do we want
We
to
I
do
do
that stuff first? We haven't really started the meeting.
Yeah. Probably.
All right, okay, yeah, that's right. We're still working on the agenda.
is that on the agenda?
No,
No.
it's not. So we need to
Okay.
add that to it. That's what I was
Or
actually
just,
talking
Okay.
about.
so continuing
Yeah, I
business.
gotcha.
That would be old business, wouldn't
So
it?
that was
Yes.
Continuing, yeah.
to adopt the agenda.
I move to adopt the agenda
I second.
with that addition of the meadow.
Meadow. Sometimes I forget what I'm going to talk about, so I have to get it all out. All right, thank you. And has everybody looked at the
I'm in
minutes?
favor.
All in favor.
I'm in favor.
Are you in favor?
Vote. Yeah.
Yeah. 3.
Uh,
All opposed? Because I didn't see Brett. Brett, did you
I voted yes.
hear? Okay. Then yeah.
All in favor.
Unanimous.
Oh.
Move for the minutes. June 8th.
I just did that.
Did you? Cool.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I did not.
I have a
You
You
can
can
motion.
just be easy enough to
You had me
get
fooled.
We're gonna be here for a while.
Do I have a second?
I'm trying to move faster. I thought we were in appropriation. I will second it.
All in favor?
On that approach.
1, 2, 3,
Well, I'm not there.
4, sorry.
4.
Slow, yeah.
Okay.
Q10.
Okay, I would move to approve the appropriation ordinance 1475.
I will second.
Okay. Tim,
Yes.
Annie,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Justin.
Yes.
Okay. Public concerns or comments, if you're not already on the agenda, now would be the time to jump in if she's on the agenda. Okay.
Nobody's on the phone.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you have a report for Mike?
No.
And do you have a report yourself?
Yes. So, Jim Weir, his mother passed away earlier this year and they just did their memorial. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to do something for
Oh, yeah.
a memorial for her. I think it's to the firefighting department, the fire department. So typically you guys do.
Memorial, does somebody want to, what do we usually,
You usually do, in the past, you've done $50.
okay. All right, let's, then that would be $50 to the memorial for Jim Weir's mother, which would be the fire department. Do we need to make a motion on that? Maybe.
So move.
Probably.
All right. We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All in favor? That's kind of sad.
Yeah. And then the only other thing I had was you guys have a report, and then someone had asked me a financial report. I'm sorry, and then someone had asked me about inspection fees. I didn't know if you wanted me to report on that now. Someone had asked what it would be, the revenue loss could be. So I had a number, and it was going to be about $10,000 from what we made last year. And then Kezia found a report on her actual, because that was like kind of an approximate from how many boats we sold based off of the stickers. And then Kay had something off of the square that said it was around 8,000. So, I mean, it's fairly close, but then I asked, well, is that just credit card sales? And she hadn't gotten back to me yet. So it's somewhere between those numbers. I'm guessing if it's off the Foursquare, then the 8,000 would be credit card sales, but I just wanted to report on that because someone had asked me to do that. So
Big numbers.
yeah. So, and that was based off of last year's sales. I don't know if I said that. So
What was the last? You said 8,000 to what?
10,000
Okay.
was that $28 inspection fee. So, and that's all I have. Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie that they want to ask? No. Okay.
Hang on a second. Do you know, didn't we sell a lot less permits last year than what we're doing this year?
Yeah, so we were looking at stickers today, and last year the last sticker was like $462, but it starts at 100, so that's like 300 some. So this year, I think she said they're already at like almost 400. So that was all of last year, and we're in, we haven't even hit July yet.
If somebody comes in City Hall here, can they get a permit here?
Like this time, a lot of people don't come in, they just go to the bait shop, but like if someone calls and asks, I normally just refer them to the bait shop. But if someone comes in, like I'll sell them one, but they still, it's kind of, they have all the stickers out there, so it's kind
That's
of,
what I was wondering.
yeah.
Steph,
Most of the time I just refer them to the bait shop, but in the beginning of the year, there's a couple people that had bought one, which I think I had told you guys. They bought one early, so. But yeah, it's just easier to send people out there, honestly. But they could get a fishing license in here. I have sold a couple of those because you actually
You can
don't
only
get
sell
anything
fishing
for.
permits here.
But that's what I meant. Yeah, not Kansas. Yeah.
Well, I've had a lot of people ask me that also.
Yeah.
I didn't think that you were set up for that.
No, I don't think so.
I have people come over to my store and use the computer and buy a license offline, and they can get it printed out. But that's
Yeah, I was
dealing
never
with
shown the
Kansas.
process of that, so I have no idea about that. Yeah.
It surprised me. I didn't know it. And so over the years, it's been several times,
So,
especially a state license. Anything else?
Question,
Yes.
if somebody buys a boat permit here, Stephanie, you charge the inspection fee?
yeah. Which I guess. Yeah. You have to get inspected still before they go out
Not
on the
supposed to be
water.
inspected before it goes on the water anyway, so.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Do we have any purchase requests or work orders?
No.
Okay. New city business, 2020 wiffle ball.
Yeah, hi, I was just wondering if Tracy might can host the ball again, at the barracks land, like we have in the past. For all proceeds from full again.
What's the date?
It's 7/18. Really no change than the prior years we've had in there. There might be a little less attendance than normal, but
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Tom, are we gonna do the camping thing again, or didn't we rope off an area last year and nobody really used it?
We've never used camping. I mean, people have camped, but it's never been roped off specifically.
Really?
I know we had a conversation, Tim, I'm like you, I think I remember that
I thought we
conversation.
designated a spot where you guys could camp out over there, because there's not supposed to be
Like right
camping
by
on
the
that
field.
side.
I
and
think
that
we
was-
talked about it, but the follow through was never taken. And
It was never on Whipple, for, like, by the barracks, you mean?
Yeah.
I think, from what I recall of that conversation, is that it's city property, and if people wanted to camp on it, they could attend up and camp on it. No wiffle ball people ever camped over there, though. Everyone camped at the bait shop that camped. But I have seen tents up there before, but they were
Yeah, there's
never
not
out,
supposed-
they were never on that weekend either.
There's not supposed to be any camping on that side.
So
Why?
that was
There
outside of
is?
wiffle ball,
Why?
that wasn't part of us.
I thought we could camp anywhere on the north side as long as, except, in people's backyards at the barracks.
If that's a new rule,
Right
that's,
there on that point thing, where that dock is. That's.
no, I don't believe so.
there's no
Yeah,
camping there.
No camping.
why? Why don't we allow camping there? Probably because there's no bathroom over there.
Well, no, I mean, primitive camping is primitive camping, but we just don't want to destroy that land over there.
It's a yard.
It's easily tracked up and destroyed.
It's a yard. You just don't want people over by the barracks.
Well, you have the,
I have no invested interest in that
You
because I
think
don't
I'm
own a
protecting
barrack.
the barracks people?
Yeah,
No,
well, then we should let people camp over there then.
no, that's not the only issue.
you do have a motion and a
Do we need to
second.
vote?
Oh, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Thank you guys.
We were on to make the money.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
How much did we donate to the fireworks last year?
1,000.
1,000?
Mhm.
Just to expedite it because of the list of things here, I'll move to donate the same amount this year.
I'll second.
We have a donation of $1,000 to the fireworks. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's have a party.
This is the speaker.
Cause you know we're gonna hit a roadblock, Dustin, so.
I'll
I
move
see
to
it.
approve the transfer from Spiker to Brooks as well. But I do want to say something. I had somebody ask if Stephanie, when we do drop transfers, if you could put the people's names that are transferring the dock and then to the names of who it's being transferred
That's
to
right
in the minutes.
Oh, in the minutes.
In the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I second that motion.
Oh, okay. Brett made a motion. Brett, I didn't hear what it was again. Would you please repeat?
I'll move to approve the transfer of Spiker to Brooks.
Is that 396 Lake Shore?
Yes.
Yep.
And Annie seconded it? All in
Yes.
favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you.
So this next one, it's a pretty blank thing, but he is literally just sharing it out and replacing, exactly as it is, board for board, he said.
Does anybody have a comment on
And it's only one.
It's only one dock per structure and it's within.
I'll move to
size.
approve
I'll second.
173-29 dock permit.
And a second, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Are we going to update our permit application so it asks to include photos?
Oh.
We talked about that last meeting, didn't we?
I don't remember that, but maybe I missed
Yeah, we
it.
did.
Your suggestion.
Did we? Okay, sorry, I missed that.
No,
I didn't know if
Be
you had a
done like
stack of
meetings.
these and you were burning them up before.
Well, we do, but yeah, I can, update it, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, do we want to say must include photos or photos are helpful? So,
Must
Like
include
drawings
photos.
or actual of the property.
well, I mean, I know drawings are obviously,
You're talking photos.
yeah.
Okay.
Drawings.
Well, when we were doing that, looking at the one that was kind of off the shoreline, I mean,
Yeah.
docks, really? Do you need a photo of just, here's a spot in the water? And I don't know what you're gonna show for that, but like if it's a land-based permit request, then
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Okay.
If it's
Maybe-
land-based, then you can see what's around.
How do you word that to say,
Yeah.
give us photos if they'll help?
So,
I mean, you obviously don't want to demand them every single time. and
Well,
I think that, I
yeah.
agree.
I guess what I can
overboard.
do is just, if someone puts in like a structure permit, I could just tell them like, I need to include a photo with,
Say something like your chances improve dramatically if you
yeah,
reduce
Yeah.
questions and get approvals. If you
okay,
Speed the
provide,
process.
the more information you
Speed the
provide.
process.
yeah,
I
I'll
like
start
that.
telling people, yeah. Okay,
So 52 West Flint Hills Drive dock, is that board for board?
so she has already tore it out,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm guessing, I mean, it's within size restrictions and it's enough away from the
So
other two, so.
she had a dock before and
She
then-
did and tore it out and then is rebuilding, so,
But not two,
right,
Right.
there's
as
just
long as
one,
she's not
there's just one,
over the size.
And that's standard 20 by 24.
yes.
Yes,
I'll move to approve 52 West Flint Hills Drive dock permit.
I'll second.
I have a motion to approve 52 West Hills Drive,
I seconded.
and you seconded, and all in favor? 4. Okay. Ms. Paulus?
Yes, so
Okay.
this one is a portable storage shed right next to her carport there. It's on skids, so it's not permanent.
It's not a permanent structure.
Mm-mm.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just we can't move it along.
I move to approve.
I have a comment about this one.
You're talking about which one?
Bill
The
Ryder.
Reidinger and Solden transfer.
Okay.
Ms. Solden had been sending text messages to people telling them that she was putting poison out around the barracks out at the lake. It's been aware to me that she was trying to get rid. It is against the law. And there is a lady that had been, well, to be completely honest, people drop cats out there all the time. I've probably found homes for about 15 of them and
Yeah.
spayed and neutered them myself. The one cat had been there about 7 years. This lady feeds it every day. I talked to 7 other barrack owners that wanted the cat there. And so I can only assume that since it's being transferred to her and she doesn't want them there, that she sent this lady a text message basically telling her that she was poisoning the cats or putting poison out because she didn't want them there. So I didn't know how we were going to,
She can't do it, it's against the law.
um,
We'll tell her she can't do it. I'll call her.
it's done.
that'll fix it.
She's
it's
already
done.
killed it?
Yeah, it's done. They're gone.
Or did you move them?
No, they're gone.
The
So
traps?
there are several, yes,
Okay.
several of the barrack owners are upset about it. So I just didn't know what
We
we
don't
wanted.
prohibit it. Pets out there, somebody's pet would have got that.
Pump the brakes for a second. Do
Okay.
you have any evidence of this or is it
Yes.
just hearsay?
No, it's a screenshot message that I can acquire for us if we want. But
But somebody might have been humane and knowing that this was happening, maybe they went and caught the cat to transfer it away.
Well,
We don't know that it's
The
dead. for
message
sure.
said she would be putting the poison out the next day.
Okay, so let's get this straight. She said she would put the poison out. You found the poison.
I did not find the poison.
Did anybody find any poison?
I don't know.
Okay.
I searched around there for poison and the cats to no avail for none of it.
And we haven't seen a dead body, cat body.
Nobody, no.
Not yet, but we do
Corpus
have the message saying that that's what she was going to do, and
It seems to be the only thing we can do then is just to send a general letter saying that it's not allowed.
Well, I mean,
not to take the cats off the table. Any of the wildlife out there or any of the barrack owners that have dogs could be getting into any of that. So,
so this is Bill Ridinger's lease.
Yeah.
yes, but
And he wants
he's
to
transferring
assign-
it to
He
Ms.
wants to
Solden,
assign it to Solden and
Yeah.
Welsh.
who is, and Ms. Solden is the one doing it.
Said she was gonna do it.
It's been a while since I looked at those agreements.
I will say that it is against the law because I did call Wildlife and Parks, and the question that I posed to them about the capacity of the lake, the lady said that she had never been asked that question before about the lake, that she would be getting back to me, which she has not, but I'm sure she will. But I did ask her about this as well, and it is against the law and punishable by law.
The county,
Yeah, it's the county, it's not us.
could someone call them?
Well, I mean, I don't think that resolves what your question is here, which is, I see it as being, can you reasonably deny the transfer to the assignment of this lease based on the fact that there is an allegation of somebody committing a crime?
I mean, it sounds like she's already taken residence, so all we're doing is the land lease agreement, which to me won't be very effective. It's stopping someone.
I think
Well-
that's immaterial to this. Now, somebody
Right,
wanted to
it's not.
file a complaint and have,
Yeah, and
have the
I think,
evidence.
I
I
don't
think the
know.
person who has the evidence
They're-
needs to take it to the county then.
Their
Yeah,
prerogative.
yeah, I don't
However
think
they
it
want.
but it is our property, so what do we do about that?
Well, you could, yeah, I mean, I think like I said, I haven't looked at those leases in a while, but part of the conditions would certainly be that they not violate the law, but you don't normally have the ability to evict somebody for that.
Well, and Todd, just because you sent a screenshot to somebody and we have no body and we have no poison.
Wonder if they came back to her and said, don't do that. She could have not done it at all. I mean,
Or-
we don't have the
or-
whole story, I guess, picture.
Well, and,
so I don't wanna
and
act on
then
that.
the person she's getting the transfer from.
And I'm not-
from them.
I'm just saying.
Asking any action or saying we should deny it. I just wanted it to be aware that this transfer is going to this person that.
Well, the only thing I can think of is if you modify the lease, that if a person is either convicted or is found to be in violation of the law in regards to this kind of issue, that you could cancel their
I have
barracks
a
lease.
lease in there.
And it is being transferred to two different individuals, not just
Yeah.
Ms. Solden, but Ms. Welch as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Cause we have a couple other barracks like that.
Paula's not opening up a Chinese restaurant, is she?
Oh, God.
Oh.
Those are dogs, man.
No, that's green.
Orders.
Okay.
Basically, what I was doing is just bringing it aware to everybody's attention. I had nothing in mind besides that.
Okay.
But you did have a motion.
Yeah.
Did we have a
Assign the
second?
lease.
Didn't you motion?
I did.
Tim
No,
did.
Tim did.
Oh, okay.
Do we have a second?
I would second.
All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4.
I would like us to send her a letter though,
Well, I think that you can, if you want. like-
because the that on our property, because it technically is our property.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay, is that me?
Well, I
I
can,
don't see anything wrong with informing her of a complaint that's been lodged against her. I think anybody would want to know that.
it might be best if I
Okay.
just looked at the lease and I'll
Yeah, I'll
give you,
send it.
I'll
I
give
can
you a
send it
rundown.
to you. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you something to.
Okay.
Or,
Okay. So this is kind of similar as what we've dealt with. You guys approved this dock permit at 226 West Flint Hills Drive last year. It was to redo her steps, and as you can read, she's had some trouble getting someone out there to do it, and she's just asking if she can go ahead with.
Yes, it's, what I read is that she had paid somebody $3,000
Yeah.
down to do the job and he skipped out.
Yeah,
And so,
it's going through court.
so she,
Yeah.
To me,
now she's gone through court to
just
neglect, so.
fixing old steps, so I would. I don't know if
Which is
that's-
wood, not concrete, correct?
I
They're
think they
concrete.
are
No.
concrete, yeah.
The old steps.
I remember talking about this last year.
Yeah.
She,
So it's overlaying the existing steps, so the
Mhm.
Yeah.
concrete will still
Composite.
exist on the, yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, what you, technically,
I
what,
think the
did she already
steps are
pay
the
the
wrong
fee?
dimensions, so she-
She did,
Okay, well then,
but it's been the 6 months.
I mean, no, she paid back in July of 19.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what she's really asking is probably for you to waive a reapplication fee.
I don't think there was, but I thought we returned an application fee if it was
We
denied
do.
or, so I mean, really, it's just
Well, it
rolls
wasn't,
anyway.
it wasn't
It
denied.
wasn't denied, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The guy skipped out with her money.
See,
So
I don't
you
even
could,
know.
that's what I'm saying, is you could waive the
fee.
reapplication fee and approve the prior application.
Yeah, I will move to do that. That's,
Humanitarian.
if we already have her $50, then
And
No
she
more
is just
necessary.
putting it over top of the existing contract that was there,
That's what
right?
that first
That's
Yeah.
what it
paragraph
is.
says.
Stairs to be updated.
I'll
with
second it
positive.
as well.
I like the idea of, before we go ahead and vote on this, I like the idea that she's eliminating one of the handrails, but I was wondering what you guys would think about the idea, maybe going forward from here, of a break in the handrail or something, if somebody's trying to walk across the shoreline or something, rather than trying to hurdle the handrails, following the steps, whatever. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a wide one, like at the football field out here at the school, where they have just a little break in the handrail. I
No,
certainly
I-
wouldn't want to make it
Would that
dangerous
be
for some.
Yeah,
reason.
as long as,
Or would that be?
No, that could be
as long
done.
as it could be constructed well so that it
We're just
was
saying
not
that
good and
these
sound,
things-
because I need a handrail, but I only need one, so.
Exactly,
And you're just talking about so people can egress through there.
exactly that. That's
I'm
just
down with
something
that.
I've been thought
Yeah, I
about.
think that
I
people
have
would
thought about
mind
for
that.
a long time. And you know, if somebody already has their plans drawn up or whatever, and this is already something she's found a contractor for, I'm not gonna press that issue on here. It's just something I would like to see practiced in the future when people are wanting to do this. That's something that
Yeah, because you would want that up there on the
I like
grass.
the idea of. And I wouldn't want to say, okay, it must be 12 feet from the shoreline or whatever, just whatever is a good spot to put it. Some places it's not a, you know,
even if you had an area that, you know, over time that kind of developed, you know, you could have one, you know, 12 feet from the shoreline, then the next one's 4, then the next one's 25, and you could kind of be walking a zigzag pattern just to hit those holes in there. I don't know. I mean, unless you actually mandated a certain feet from the shoreline, wouldn't make sense in all cases. I mean, I
Right,
don't know how
I think,
you do that. But I mean, I
Just
kind of
that-
like the idea, but I just don't know how to effectively like get our point across, I guess. But
exactly. That's where I was leaning on you, Jackson.
I got nothing, man.
I'd say wherever it makes sense, as long as there's a passway for people to pass through.
Follow the
And
shoreline.
you can leave it up to them.
As long as it's on like city easement.
Yes.
Thing, yeah.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
Yeah.
and we obviously can't force them to on their own property.
Mhm.
That's trespass. All that good stuff.
That's a good picture though.
So did we get a second on that one?
We did. So Justin and then Brett seconded.
Okay. Yeah, and I- All in
It was
favor?
you, it was you.
Now I have
Okay, so this one is interesting. So Mike has gone out to look at this one. First of all, he went out today to make sure that there is a house there. And there is, however, if you go to, oh shoot, I didn't even include it in the packet. I apologize. I have it right here. The kind of interesting thing about this one is the way that they would have to get there, that he wasn't so sure about. Ugh.
Are you
have
sure
it
you
somewhere.
didn't include?
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, so the X right there is their house. He went and made sure there is a structure there. It is a house. It has electricity. But see, the only way they want their dock clear over here. So it's kind of hard to see.
I could show them.
Yeah.
Where's the X? The house?
Right here.
That area where they want it is the most undeveloped area, correct? Which is why they want it there, because
So
it
your
doesn't have to be by
circle-
anybody else.
And I did ask them for clarification because my blue circle on here, or theirs is really big. They want it right here.
So they're
10
not
feet
jumping
from
right to the
this
center.
dock. And then this is their house. So they would have to go like through here. I don't know. So that
And
was the
there's
only thing
nothing
he wanted.
closer to their house over here.
Looks like
I don't think
I'm
so.
sure that's a knee deep.
I don't think so. So that was the only thing that Mike, when he went and looked at it, wanted to point out to you guys that
There is a
he said it's
pathway
just
there.
kind of a strange, it's like a third tier.
I don't know
Yeah.
if there's a pathway.
Well, there
Or with
is,
walk.
there's just not a great one. I think if they would have to, this is city. And then. So,
I actually didn't make it out to that, and I wanted to, and I didn't make it out to see it. I would like to see it before I vote on it, but if everybody else is in the majority of passing it, I will go ahead and go with it. But
And
I would
here's-
like to see it.
kind of another picture. Google Earth shows it a little bit better. I mean, I don't know if this helps you guys at all, but right, 10 feet from there is where they're wanting the dock, so.
My suggestion is that we
Where
go
is it?
see it
Is
with our own eyesight
No,
before we
that-
make a judgment
that-
on something.
They want that.
I like doing
I was
that.
thinking
They
of
want
that.
their dock here,
Right,
the house is.
well, it's really not,
The dock
you
would
can't
be
really
here.
get it
The house
anywhere
would be
else.
like-
Up here.
I'm
Yeah,
familiar with
Yeah.
where the house is.
I'm gonna move to table it till the next meeting to let council have time to go look at it.
But they, literally, from where they're coming from, you look along the shoreline there, that's about the only spot where they can put it.
Where?
What
Right
are you
there?
looking
This
for,
is where they're
Brett?
gonna put it.
Yeah, right there. Yeah, well,
I mean, if they have to go from here to there,
Yeah.
and there's nothing over here for them to put in.
Hmm.
You talk
But
about
we don't know that for
Chinatown.
sure because we're not eyeballing it yet.
so are these docks all
Yeah, they're
across the
fine.
way
see,
or?
that's what I don't know.
Not always, there was a time when they would
You've
sell
got
We
docks
don't-
anyway. That's right.
Yeah, this is
They're
first
not
row,
all like-
second row,
Yeah,
third
Okay.
row.
because that's
That makes
what this
sense.
is. And that's the spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Right.
about it, so.
You
Anywhere
want,
along
the
that.
dock as close to your house as possible. That's,
And that's going,
which one is the subject house here? Is it?
No, it's not even on
It's
here.
not
Oh,
on
it's
here,
down
it's
here.
right here, Justin.
Justin, she's got a good picture.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
this X right here.
Okay.
That's a circle.
We're-
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I circled it.
Well, yeah, it's not a big front anyway.
And how many tiers back do you guys allow docks?
And that was another thing, Mike
Four,
said,
fifth,
that-
That's
sixth,
also a
seventh,
question
eighth.
of mine.
You have a
As
house
well.
like you. Yeah. Get a
But
dock.
where is
Is
that
that
written in stone that we can't change
it's
that?
not anywhere.
It's not anywhere. There's nothing.
So there's
I know
no
of.
guarantee of it, right? We don't have to.
Well, I mean, I don't know that the ordinance says that.
But we don't
there's
have a
restriction.
marina, right?
So
No.
that's the point.
Yeah.
There's no ordinance that says it, so you guys could authorize it.
I don't feel this is
Yeah, I
the
just-
proper time to enact that.
We don't like
I
a
mean,
littered shoreline, but we also don't have a marina, like we gotta give or take somewhere.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that would instantly drop the value of anything behind first tier. I mean, substantially, that'd be a major hit to property values. I don't think it's the right thing to do.
And you lose a lot of revenue if those docks weren't there.
Yeah. That's true.
We're talking about future docks that we're not even getting anything for right now. So we wouldn't be losing anything for the docks that are there.
I
People
don't,
would have
I
to
don't,
be
if
grandfathered
somebody
for
buys a
future
house
docks.
out there, they
I
should have an
just-
expectation of getting a dock.
So,
if there's place
My
for
question
it.
is, if building continues up USA Hill, what kind of second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, eighth tier is that? And are we
We should
going to
not be
guarantee those
penalizing
people as
people,
well?
Brett. I mean, this person has a place they would like, and there's this place where they can put a dock, let's let them have it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying let's not let them have it. What I said and moved for is that I wanted to table it because I wanted to look at it before I made a decision. It's the only proper thing to do. How can you make a decision without putting your eyes on something? It's logic.
I thought
and
we were
sense.
talking about, Mike went out there and looked at it. I don't
Yeah.
care if you guys want him to look at it.
But Mike
that's
has
fine.
questions
Justin's
and
trying to say
concerns.
something.
That's exactly what Stephanie just expressed to us.
Well, he just said that that was the thing he wanted to point out to you guys is that where the dock is compared to where the house is.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they got like, you know, an agreement with whatever homeowner to walk down their property. I don't know.
I mean, is this owned property? Because this looks like a big empty lot. And if this is
It's on,
ours,
it's on.
it's owned.
Who's it owned by?
Schlegel.
Schlegel, yeah. Mhm.
So I didn't see that. How it was broken up. It's platted, so.
I mean, that is a question that's valid. Or do they have permission to walk through somebody else's yard to go to their own dock?
They don't, unless they ask.
Right. So we
And
don't
And then
know.
that's subject to whoever buys the next place.
Or that they're being revoked at any time. I
What
mean,
are they gonna-
And what kind of can of worms is that? And
So they would have
we
to
are
go
not
through
talking
this
a lot of
one
money.
And then follow the shoreline.
But who knows that really, is there? I guess. There's no like
People who access this.
people that actually get those maps out. Is this a GIS?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, it's
Is there
usually
a public
lot.
access down there?
Not in that spot, but it's over
It's
here,
right- it's right
like by
here.
this house instead. So here's
I
the
see.
number.
There's- I
So
assume
they have to
it's-
come
They'd have
down
to come
here
around
and
the
then go
shore.
across city property, across here. Unless they. got
Which is
good
why I
neighbor
want the walkway.
arrangement.
Open handrail, I think.
So, yeah, as far as like the thing about USA Hill, maybe it could get that way someday that if they continue to keep
It's already
building up on
started.
that
There's
side of
already
the
a
lake,
big shed
so.
there.
There's
And
no
how do
question
we
it
know
will.
that that person isn't gonna add more to it?
I mean, as far as like, if they start adding new subdivisions and lotting and plotting and all that,
And was this a cabin or was
maybe you
this a
could make
garage
it
that they
something
just
right now that
converted to
says,
sell off?
if the
Exactly.
lots and
That's
plots
a tiny
exist, then
home.
that's,
The existing
I was like, I
plat,
don't-
but
I don't know.
I mean, how would they plat it?
Tiny
They
home
would
now,
plat
or
it
was it
anywhere within the park.
Originally
You
constructed
got
as a
it.
garage.
Yeah, they would, but it would be
What you
outside.
call a tiny home like
Yeah.
you see on
There's
that-
only that, I mean,
Mike
Well, there's
said
nice
it
ones.
does have electricity,
Small
like.
mobile.
And USA
it
is right
livable
But
structure.
not,
South side.
not mobile, right?
isn't that
I
where
mean,
that's?
No,
essentially,
it's on,
It's-
it's on a foundation.
about
Yeah.
the only thing I could think of is if you had it spread here. I
And-
mean, all this is not like a bunch of parking. up there.
I always assumed that we only
This
gave
is-
docks,
But this
gave
was.
dock.
Yeah,
space
that's
to
where
people that
all
lived
all those
inside of
contours are. I think that's elevation.
I just assumed that, but
It's in
apparently that's not it.
I didn't hear what you
Say it
said.
again.
I always assumed that we only gave dock space to people that lived inside of Lakeshore Drive. Are there people that live on the other side?
Flint Hills Drive,
Or, yeah, Flint Hills, I meant.
there are
Yes,
currently, I can think of one rental, got Buffalo,
Lodge.
Buffalo Trace or something like that.
Buffalo Spirit, whatever.
Buffalo Trace.
That's
There,
actually,
there's another one down further, Erie,
Nothing on-
Croucher.
Croucher. He's on the opposite side from the lake or the Flint Hills Drive. So there's just a couple.
But that Buffalo Spirit, that guy does have plans to build many more cabins on that lot that he has there, which will then be, where do those go? Because that's directly across from the swimming area that is littered with docks right now. I still stand that I think we need to go see it.
I'm okay with going out and looking at it.
Oh, yeah, motion to table it, so.
Motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
What is the next meeting? Table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, then are they wanting to build this now?
Says July is when they want to start.
To the next meeting.
All right, so
15th.
July 6th, right?
Definitely.
Oh, good lord.
Look at that. 40 minutes, we're done.
Right?
Right ahead, Captain.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we talking about?
City law enforcement.
You wanna talk about city law enforcement now, or do you wanna do the, well, no. The law enforcement thing isn't gonna be a fast deal. I would like to put this on the ballot for people to vote on it. I want people to understand that we're gonna need a mill levy to, in order to afford law enforcement, and they need to know about how much of a mill levy we would have in order to afford a law officer. And then they could, the clerk up in Elma is prepared for their questions. You call them up, you tell them what your property is, she will tell you, I'll have notified her what mill levy we were looking at, and then she could tell people how much it was gonna increase their property taxes for the year. People asked me last time we covered this, they thought they would have to pay $50 a month, if it was raised $50 a month. And so there's obviously a lot of people that get confused about mill levies. So they're prepared to answer people's questions if they have a house in Eskridge, and they could ask them whether or not they would want to pay $250 on a $100,000 house a year. And that's about it, because
It's $250. Like, what is that going to generate off each? Just if you just went by it, every single house, just say for argument's sake, every house is $100,000.
they
So
are.
every house,
Come on.
for argument's sake, I'm just
Okay.
saying, because then it's gonna be a lower number. But I'm going for the high number here. At $250 per house on property, I don't know how that's gonna get up to the number of a $40,000 salary for
How
a
many
cop.
houses do we have? Does anybody know the number? Estimate.
I thought at one time it was like 2.5 million was like the assessed value of Eskridge, and I'm just, I don't know. That's trying to go off the top of my head, and who knows if that's correct, but that's the number that sticks out to me, because I remember discussing this before, and I'm not in favor of property tax, by the way, but.
Well, that's
Anyway.
what you're saying. Is that what this letter is?
So yeah, someone gave that letter just,
Yeah.
saying they're not in favor.
Well, and that's the
wanna
one
have
thing
it
about putting it
watch.
on the ballot is people can vote on it and decide what they want, if they
Well,
want to have law,
I wanna make
We
sure I
can come up
understand the
with an
context.
alternate funding mechanism.
which would be,
Yeah, I don't know, you'd have to do something fancy. Okay, so here's, I had that big long post on Eskridge Watch. I don't know if anybody read it or not.
I did.
I did read it.
Kind of went over the costs and things like that, what we've done in the past. So as far as property taxes, the thing that sucks about property taxes is it disproportionately taxes some of the, larger residences, and doesn't tax others. So setting that aside, one of the nice things about sales tax is it not only taxes the residents on, their consumption or their, whatever they've had buy in town or have delivered to their house, from destination shipping, but it also, people passing through the town, buying a pop or whatever, also get to pay for Eskridge's police department. That is appealing to me, at least. And I don't know what that cost share is, the people that actually pay the taxes in here, what portion is raised from residents or whatever, but I'm guessing that probably 25%, somewhere around there,
If we were
is
to,
probably paid by non-residents. But
if we were to do this, I do think the sales tax is the most.
I will say on the sales tax for Eskridge is on the higher end right now with the
Yeah.
1% increase we just did last year.
and
At
like
9%. It's
do you realize
like
we
another
just don't
1%
have
make me
enough
cringe.
businesses
That's
for
double
that.
digits.
10%
And
is
it's
a
like,
big,
holy
big
crap.
sales tax. Bigger than,
Yeah.
I think Topeka. I think Topeka's real equivalent with where we're at right now.
Big as 9.25,
9.25.
think.
I would
So really
pose
close.
the question that, does a $40,000 salary is that a benefit to us when that only covers 23% of the time in Eskridge? Because a full-time cop is going to cover 23% of the time there, and the rest of it, there's still no coverage.
Well, you'd like to have your hot hours covered, or, you ideally have like an evening officer for the most part. So, I mean, it would be when you needed the coverage. And also, one thing that'd be nice is you'd have the ability to call out and probably get a faster response time than you would from just the county in most cases. So I think that's where your benefit would be. But I get what you're saying about only working 23% of the time. That sounds probably about right. But I think somebody said you
I
need
got that
four
on the
people
post.
to cover 24 hours, which I guess the county does now. But
And to
I
get
don't know.
going and get started, that 40,000 is going to have to turn into, let's just say 20,000 for a new vehicle and 8 to 10,000 more for the equipment that is now mandatory that you have to have. So initially that's bumping that up to $70,000 to start. And of course it'll go down to the salary after that. But then you have insurance and capers and all of that on top of all of that.
That's
So
probably another 10, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So now you're up to 80 to start, and then
Now that
50
we've
to
talked
go.
about all the money, do you know why we need to have a cop?
I know we
Yeah.
had a full-time cop
Long list of
before.
Why we need to have a cop.
Yeah, I think we need law enforcement too. I'm not against that. I just would rather find a better way of paying for it than a property tax.
You might have to do a little bit of property tax and a smaller mill levy and do sales tax, but I'm telling you, we don't have enough businesses here in town to generate enough money to pay a lot of that salary.
That's also something this council needs to work on, is getting businesses into this town.
Well, yeah,
That's
we
a good
need
go
a
for
saloon, we need a laundromat terribly because everybody's using my laundry room. And what else? Something where people can socialize, which that's why a saloon would be nice.
We need a cafe.
A cafe would be nice. I got two
We
men
need
on
a
the hook
cafe.
for that, but I don't know if they'll do it or not.
Yeah, because unfortunately we lost sales tax from the.
Yeah.
So hopefully that is something that will restart.
Need a buyer. At least
So-
sounds a building that can be used right now, but the rest, where are you putting them? Because we've got rotten
Who says
buildings.
there's no buildings for sale? Gotta ask the right person.
Well, post a sign in the window would be a help, but.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Jack Foster's building's for sale, but I don't know what kind of shape it is now.
Not-
That's the bank.
It's not usable at
What
this
about the old
moment.
gas station at the end of town? Are we ever gonna get rid of that junk camper that's there beside it?
It's
Dolly
not our
It's
place. My
It's
husband bought that. Well, no, we tried to get it.
Oh, yeah, I guess it's not.
Yeah.
I want that junk.
Are you guys hitting the road?
I swear to God, he got the money from the pastor and he said, I want that. I said, what?
That's
And
funny.
so,
He
we
knows
went
he
to,
can't live in it, right? That's illegal in town.
he
He's
cannot
not
live
gonna live
in
in
it.
it.
He is in my blue room. He's
I
fine.
thought maybe you got him in the doghouse or
It's a
No,
something.
he's not
temporary
in the
stay,
doghouse.
then.
He is actually a good boy. So,
You
no,
may want to travel the world.
Joe D. Mercer might be in there if we can't get it moved. We went down to move it today and we couldn't get it moved. It was kind of funny, except I was glad that we couldn't move it because I knew that as soon as Joe got up on the highway, there was like 20 cars that went by in 5 minutes and I thought we're going to get killed. And so we couldn't get it moved. And so some other people were going to look at it. And I said, how about Lee Stevenson? I'm standing here, the only sane person in that whole group of people that were trying to move that thing. But it'll come out to our place. I will probably part it out in about a year and sell the engine. I hope Joe's not watching me. And because the engine's worth something and some other things in there are worth something. And then I'll get it out of the yard, out of my yard.
All right, that
Yeah,
has
so
happened.
that, and we're still married because we've been together 52 years and I will not let this part us.
Is that what this note is for meeting tonight? I was ready.
Yeah,
Petition for no
these
property increase in the mill
people-
levy they're talking about.
I think they saw the agenda or they
Yes.
heard something and they thought that law enforcement was gonna be brought up, so they were saying, we would rather have a neighborhood watch, is what I gather from this.
We have a neighborhood
We
watch.
have a neighborhood watch.
And we have an
Also-
edge-
Well, I think
I
we were
think they
trying
were
to.
saying that they will be,
All right.
I think they're volunteering themselves.
Well, but no, I think
So
they
it'd be kind
said,
of like
But maybe I'm wrong.
Washington,
We did that.
Oregon.
McGruff, McGruff
What's
is
it,
what it used to be called.
On the chat.
1-785-449-2482.
Uh-oh.
Here you go.
Oh. Hi, do you have comments on the subject we're talking about now? Marcia? I think.
Marcia.
hello?
Hello,
Nope. Should I?
Marcia?
I don't think they will.
Oh, did we lose her?
Have we
Hi.
gotten any
Who was it?
checks for the
I
city
think it was
sales
Marcia.
tax?
It sounded like her voice.
No, hello.
Oh, hi. Yes.
It is Marcia.
Hi.
Not yet. Where's this?
Did you have comments, Marcia?
Oh, I was just interested in, yeah, I have comments. I was interested in hearing about the tax, and I'm interested in a sales tax, not a property tax.
Right.
can I,
Is there any other?
Let's hear Todd.
Waiting to hear the rest of the meeting because
Of something else?
time delayed.
okay, well,
What?
I wanted to mention the fact that,
Pull from the lid.
I mean, I'm not sure what's going back and forth here. But the fact of the matter is that if were for there to be an increase in any property tax above the, well, yeah, the cost of living as set, there has to be an election. So there's no way to increase it over that amount. You don't need to petition anything. You don't need to do anything magical. Automatically, upon going over that amount, you have an election.
That would be a ballot question anyway, wouldn't it? Or would
Yeah.
it just be you raise the mill levy and it would be subject to, at that
No, it
time?
would be
No,
right.
it's
it has
valid.
to-
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about.
Yeah.
All right, maybe I should have
We already
asked you
missed
guys
that
to let
deadline
me
anyway.
explain this. I called up there. We have to have it up to the county 90 days before November to get it on the ballot. It should be, and in order for people
The
to
date
vote
is
on it,
August, because I called as well.
thank you.
And the date
Um,
is,
August 4th.
yeah.
well, you
And
gotta,
so-
but you gotta have your budget done before then, right?
So then we have to have a discussion.
Yeah, it's them, I think.
Because to
The
certify
90
the
days.
question, they want,
Lightning?
Oh,
think-
you would have to, then yeah.
I think they want the ballot question on the
Right.
4th.
Yeah,
Meaning
you
you
would
have to
have
have it
to
all
have it in
written
the
out.
budget.
Correct.
So
Unless
guys-
you, did the, yeah.
well, but that's, I mean, it's corresponding pretty well. It's just, it's probably faster
9 p.m.
than you would really have to.
Yeah. Which is great.
But in essence, if you don't get that in, then you have to pay, you're gonna have to pay for this. You don't have to pay for the election then.
Yeah,
You have to pay
you
probably
don't want to
something.
pay for a special election.
No, that's
We-
like 8,000, wasn't it? when we
Yeah,
looked into that?
yeah, it was a lot.
Especially when you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
Sorry, that-
Right.
Well, and so, I mean,
Sure,
what, so as far as like an alternative solution, I know we have the gas fund, or revenue funds in general. So right now, we have been accustomed up until this year of paying $60,000 principal and interest towards the gas bond. It was paid off in 2019, so we have no payment for 2020. So this is our first year where we have $60,000 that we're not used to having. I'm not saying spend it all on this because I think that would be a bad use of funds that are intended for gas. I know we can make transfers. I'm saying that possibly we look into making that part of a blended solution, probably including some type of sales tax. I don't know necessarily about a full percent because once again, those double digits scare me. But that's just,
Yeah, no, that.
I don't know. I mean, 0.75%, 0.5%, but then we're only raising like 15 grand or 22.5. And that's based off 30,000, which I don't even know if that's correct anymore.
It was
That's
like
for 1%.
33,000 when I had called the 2 times that I got all the information. It was around like 33,000. That's what we should have been getting this year, but I bet we don't hit it without the buffet.
Yeah.
So it'll be even less than that.
So 30 might be a good working number anyway then, but
What fund brings in the most money that we can transfer from?
I mean, gas definitely brings in the most money. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
talk about blended, are you talking about
What's the
partial mill
second?
levy, partial sales tax, and
Sewer,
then partial
but
from the gas?
sewer
I
is,
really wanted to keep mill levy out of it,
I
but
really
And the
don't
third?
understand that. You know, with some, with
Just say
you,
lake
it
and
would
shut
be
him
like
up.
$250 a year
yeah.
on your house. On my house, it would be about,
It would give an
I think
increase in
130.
question of
I
what
would
we're
pay
going to do
that.
with our money.
I mean, you're not talking about a
Her
month,
money?
you're talking about a year.
Yeah.
Well, that's what she said.
That's
What are you
what I
gonna do
hear.
with my money and what are you gonna do for me?
And that
Well,
pays
that's
for
my
the
money.
entire,
Year.
well, the entire deal.
That's my
Well, it
reason.
should. I mean, that's what we need to start working on, is how much we want to pay them, how much it's gonna cost to get them started up, like Brett was saying. And then figure out how much of a mill levy we would want to have, so that people would know what to ask, what question to ask the county treasurer. Because,
I take that back, it'd be gas and water.
there's a lady that told me she was willing to pay more for that, because she had asked how much it would be. I don't know what she asked the county person. But she said if it was less than $300 or $400 a year more, she would pay it. And I said, no, it wouldn't be that much. So I really think that if
3 or 4
That's what
hundred
I
a
like
year is a
about-
lot.
but that's when you let people vote, then that way you have their will. And everybody that votes will have a say in it. Most people own, well, not, I think.
The thing about that is, I don't like the fact that some people will pay more than other people.
But that's part of it. You gotta
Well, that's
also look
property
at
value in
it, you
general.
look at it as a percentage though. I mean, if somebody has $150,000 house, they probably have an income that supports that house. So the percentage that they're paying for their house or their mortgage is this. And if I make, no, I won't use me for an example, but if somebody has a house that's worth $50,000 and they make enough money to support that household, and then you go by the percentage of what they're putting into it. You can't go by, it's like apples and oranges kind of.
Not if somebody has a really valuable house that's been paid off.
My house is paid up.
Well, to
I don't
me,
mind
it seems
anymore.
like, just looking at the Eskridge Watch, I mean, comments that are made on there, the certain people that people allude to as being druggies or thieves, their property values are obviously lower than everybody else's. So,
And they're the ones using the services.
right, so they get to
Well,
pay
there you
less.
go.
I mean, that's what I don't like about it.
I'm happy if they pay it all, to be honest, Brett. I mean, how many of those people are really responsible tax-paying individuals, if they are?
Well, they are, or they wouldn't be in their houses here.
But
They'd be
once
Not
again,
necessarily
a
true.
ballot question could we present to them
Milk that
a ballot
system pretty good.
question that had a mill levy, a little bit of a sales tax?
There's
No.
there's
So
no.
they would have
We
to be
couldn't get it
line
done
item
in
and you
time.
have to pass it all, or
I don't even know how you do that. I mean, the answer is that you don't need to get their permission if you go below that percentage, right?
Yeah.
So what you would probably do is say something, I mean, I don't know what the numbers are, but you say 1% increase on real estate taxes, transfers of funds in X amount from gas, water, or whatever, together, and that gets you a number, and then you just say, okay, the rest of it's got to come from sales tax or whatever, or we've reached that. But everything will be determined by your budget, because your transfers are there, and your increase has to be through that, essentially, and calculated into your next budget.
the cost of living probably won't be jack squat this year because of all the COVID stuff is probably
Yeah, I don't know.
deflationary.
Yeah, it may not be. You could probably get somebody to give you an indication of that, but
I also still feel taking care of blighted properties so that there are no places for riffraff to live or stay or squat is also a great option of ridding.
These people are living in homes and they're already here and they have homes and they're living in them.
There's some people living in homes with no running water as we speak. There are,
We got a feedback, Marcia. I didn't hear you,
Like
kid.
she's listening.
I'm on mute, waiting to talk, so it's.
Okay, go ahead, Marcia. We thought you were talking. Go ahead.
Must have been a video.
This one.
there are other ways. We could
Sorry, we're
explore
looking
that a
for
little
a-
more
I think
and
we
maybe
need to
come back.
explore
I
it.
mean, we can raise
The
costs.
question I
We
have
can
Go ahead.
increase.
Comes to the budget, it's all budget.
is how many people, I missed this probably, how many tax-paying citizens do we have in town? Property.
Nobody has the answer to that question.
We just had a value number, which was 2.5
What's the
million.
value number?
Wasn't it 2.5 million? Wasn't that the property value or what?
Yeah, but I thought.
Well,
2.5 million?
2.5 million.
It's been a little while.
Maybe.
An assessed valuation.
Okay. All right, that doesn't make, sense, I guess. By looking at the properties that we have in town, how did we come up with that?
The county did, we
The
didn't.
county.
The county does.
It's their assessed
Okay.
appraisal value, I would imagine, all added together.
So that's the thing that we can just look up.
We're trying.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, but my assessed appraisal value is not what I pay in property taxes. That's always higher.
Well, you have you have the value that the county thinks your house is, and then you have
101
the assessed valuation, which is like
Okay.
11% of that or
That's kind of a
something.
one when I
They
looked
have
it
some
up the
formula.
other day online.
So like,
But
you know,
that's pretty darn close.
Close, yeah, whatever. it
and,
is.
and then they put your mill
Like
levy
80
based
of
on that.
those
And I think a mill is
17.1.
10.1% of.
Yeah,
Of that
I called
value.
up there, they told me a meal is
Figure out how many
$17.25.
Okay.
I was like, really?
For a
I just,
$100,000 house or whatever, or that.
what she
Whatever.
told me was the mill levy was $17.25, and then whatever your assessed value is, then you times your mill. I don't know.
Your
That's fine.
total 2016 ad valorem tax amount
Mine
that
is
you
even
obtained was $78,839.
I was gonna say,
according
I
to
have one of
this.
the biggest houses in town.
I don't know what that,
So we're working on the budget then pretty soon.
Well,
you got to, you better be.
yeah.
Marcia,
As far
what
as
we're
raising
gonna have to do
50,000,
is work out a plan to
40%
see
increase.
if we do a blending of funding or if we, by using transfers out of our revenue funds, or if we use a sales tax or property tax,
yes.
Could've
or
been- it only
increase the
makes
mill
sense if
levy,
the-
so.
if the
Law
officer was-
enforcement
It's a discussion that we
would
started
provide
tonight,
for your property,
and,
right? So
Correct.
it's legitimate in my view.
we'll just have to
If we
get
used it
serious
for
and,
that, it
and
would
look
be.
at it.
I don't think it would be right to take it.
Our
out
part-time
and use it
officer
for
right
the
now is
city.
supposed to be.
Okay, I'm really sorry, because since I can't come to the meeting,
You can, you
I feel
can
like I'm
now.
butting in because of the time difference of the delay. But just stopping and thinking about property values and homeowners and the amount, didn't feel like we've raised very much, even if it was $100 a person that our taxes went up. But I guess there's more property in the city limits with no homes on it or something that people own.
Marcia, can you please turn the volume down on your computer?
Use the volume on your phone.
Marcia, can you read this?
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, it says, come to meeting. The meetings are now open.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Well, they always were open.
They were always open if, well, no, I had the discretion.
With
Paul.
No, you didn't, no, you didn't.
Thank you.
I deny that you did this.
But anyway,
Let's just move
anyway,
on.
please come to the
I think
meeting.
she's already hung up and on her way, Mark. I think she'll be here.
Let's get through the other stuff.
I say, as far as law enforcement goes, it sounds like we did a lot of research too long ago to remember anything. So it sounds like we need to get details again and then come back and have a real discussion.
Yeah.
Because we're kind of batting around unknowns right now.
Well, you see, and I
So
didn't even
let's-
want to get into this that deep. I just wanted to put it out there that we would need to start, look at this and we need to work on our budget. So, there
Okay,
you
so
go.
I think we should probably all think about,
Yeah.
because we all seem in favor of it. Am I wrong on that?
In some,
Are you in favor of
as soon as we figure out
full-time
how
law
to do it.
enforcement, or am I reading that wrong?
I
I guess, what's your opinion there?
think
first?
everybody here wants law enforcement.
I got the
Like,
last two applicants
to
for
some
law
degree-
enforcement, so.
Or
We just
all,
gotta
like,
find that
full-time, 40 hours a week, minimum law enforcement.
Yeah.
Finding out how to pay for it and then getting
Okay.
someone who's interested.
So
in my opinion.
That is the
that's,
huge.
yes, I know we're at,
Because we
we're at
have
hurdle one,
advertised
we have
a
a
lot.
second hurdle.
Money.
Like, I
And
think
like I
that's
said
a
off
lot
the
of people
top,
miss
it's gonna
that,
cost
is the city has
$80,000
advertised a
off the
lot
top.
for law
At
enforcement.
least vehicle.
Yeah, but they all
They'll
knew
make
that
that
we
an
were,
instant
we were lowballing
cost
it.
while you
So,
raise money or save
Bingo,
money.
right there.
So that's.
And I mean, that, is that the
Right,
answer?
and I understand.
Do you
I'm
have to up
doing all
the
that stuff
ante?
with my own
Do you have to
Yeah.
pay
house, I'm not.
$18 part-time, $20 an hour part-time? Even if, you
No,
know,
well,
even if you
no,
want
I think we do need to evaluate what's a
Right, 10
real
more hours or
salary,
something, but-
so we have a number to aim for. So I think we need to do research here, as not just mill levy and sales tax, but where else can we gain revenue? Because that's not the only thing we can do.
Yeah, no,
We are a
gas
city,
fund.
we
I mean, we
get revenue, so we can look
generate
at other
money from the
options.
gas fund.
So,
What scares me is committing to a full-time cop, and then what do we have for the other improvements in Eskridge?
no, I understand that. And
We're sitting
I
on
think we
blighted
all
properties right now, talking
We
about
had-
turning one
we had
down and
are
getting
in
one
favor of not
in a year.
taking budget
Yeah.
away.
And we've been doing, what, 2 or 3 a year?
We haven't done one this year,
We've
Oh,
done-
we
and we have
How
many
letters
did we do
out
last
for
year?
multiple.
Because we did.
We're not, I hate to tell you people this,
Yeah,
but
but
we
then
have
we've got
people
budget
moving
for
out of
you to
this
do that
town
one too,
because of
right?
the law,
That
the
one,
perceived
That
lawlessness that
one
we have,
was-
and we have petty theft going on. And they
Schaefer
decided they didn't
again.
wanna stay.
I think it was Lux.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but,
So I
yeah.
guess
don't know.
there's the
We're gonna
challenge.
talk
Bring
about
the
it later.
details and let's talk about where we can pay for this. And then we can tackle the second of, but we need to know how much we need to pay somebody to get somebody to come. I guess.
Yeah, we
That
need to
number was
get that
40,000 the
horse in
last
front of the
time
cart, but.
and that was like a low kind of salary.
Yeah.
Or 1750.
But that's not including benefits and
Yeah.
capers and all of that. That
That
was
was
just
put
the
it out,
salary.
that's one
That's probably-
42.
Yeah, that's probably figuring 40
Does
hours a
Douglas
week.
still
and
work for us?
what comp?
I know,
He
that was my
has,
question.
he has
They
a
always get
medical
called out, so you have to
condition,
account for
and
some
so
of
he
it.
still works for us, but he's
Okay.
not working. He's on medical leave and he might not be able to come back.
Has he paid for his gun for him, Claire, then?
No,
No,
he has
it's
not.
still ours.
So,
We
yeah,
have
that's
a gun.
another thing.
We'll put it in that safe right there.
Do we have it?
So, no, we do not have it here.
Okay, you want me to get it, or, you
So
know,
do
I
we
mean,
need-
he's on medical leave, he's not fired or
Well,
anything
I was
like
gonna say,
that.
there's no point in pursuing it, and I
No.
wanted to know what his status was, if he's
That's
still
what
working
it
for
is.
us.
Yeah, last time I talked to him last weekend.
Okay.
Okay,
You see that we need to go and disarm him until he doesn't work for us.
No.
I agree. He was actually.
No, and I did see him out and about
Well-
before all of this, so.
Yeah,
Yes.
before he got hurt, yeah.
Before, yeah, oh, yeah. Okay, unpermitted structures of city property at lake.
Okay, so we talked about this before. We sent a letter to the wrong person and he is not happy with us. He's also asked that someone call him about.
Well, who is it then?
it's-
But this person that's unhappy, we're still unclear if that his own fence is on
Well,
encroaching
okay.
on us as well, correct?
Well,
sent
it's
the
right
wrong-
on my line. I don't know. That's what I don't know.
We have a dispute going on.
And I
here.
don't know how to figure that out. And Mike.
Oh, I know how to
talked
figure
about
it out.
Well, no, but I think that,
So,
he said that he showed the pins to you of his property, the man that owns the gazebo. Said that he'd shown, and I think that he has a
Salyer?
skewed idea of where his property is. In other words, he's mistaken. And if he's mistaken, then he will, but he looked at this and he said, this is my property. He said, this is. my
That's why when
But
I
it's-
spoke with him, that I told him I would have to get the city supervisor, which is Mike, to come out and assess the situation.
and I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
Mike went and looked, or
Yeah,
I don't
he
know if
thinks
Mike went
this
and
is
looked,
his
but
property.
looking on GIS,
This
He did
back
go and
here.
look.
it's, yeah,
He
it's
truly
not
feels.
his.
That's what he feels.
Yeah, it's city property. So that's where
that
the
this is his property.
miscommunication
Right.
came from.
And he said, he came to the store and he said that if he was wrong, he would remove that immediately. But the reason he put it up there is because there was a lot of vehicles over on one of these sides and they would literally come around and they hit his truck. And so he said, I decided, and then he put this stuff in here and people were turning around there and spoiling it. And he felt that that was his property. If it isn't, then he's mistaken and he will remove that. It's not permanent.
Well, it is a tight area to turn around in there, but I also think we own that much of property directly across as well, correct?
Yeah, it's right there.
So
Which
that's,
is not very accessible to be turned around either by the construction and the parking of what's going on there. So if both of them would open, that would alleviate the problem of being able to turn around in that point.
It looks like you're parking on the road anyway.
But the gazebo is a structure that is there and not being paid for, so
No.
it needs to be dealt with, removed or something. And it's been there for a while, not being paid for.
It would look great over the swimming area.
It would.
When we were talking about he was wanting to purchase that land and stuff, didn't we talk about that gazebo?
it wasn't the gazebo, it was
No,
his deck off the back.
if you
See
look at
how
the
that goes
line-
Yeah, I
right
know,
there?
I know that's what he was wanting to buy that property, but I thought somebody said something about that gazebo, because that hasn't been built, that's been there for a while, hasn't it? I mean, years.
I was under the impression, and I can't ask them now, obviously, that Anschutz put that there.
I think so.
Jonker would probably know.
But that's irrelevant at this point.
Yes, it
because they're
is.
deceased.
And if it doesn't belong to anybody, then we can maybe move it over to the swimming pool area.
So as far as the fence goes, I don't know. So it sounds like, so the deal is, this neighbor built, well, he built that, no. So what he was complaining about, so he built that because there's a fence that this property owner built right on the edge, whether it's on city property or not, we don't know. But he's mad about the metal fence, and so he put that there so people would stop turning around.
Because people have always, in the history, like, been able to turn around there. The new owners have now blocked it off, saying you don't want my dog running around all your property and stuff.
Right.
Well,
And now he's even more mad because we sent
Upset
him
with Stephanie.
the letter about removing those blockades.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, the only thing I wrote about was those things that are on property.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was there by mistake, the guy who got it by mistake, it's corrected by him telling us, that's why we send the letter, so that people can tell us that you made a mistake. And whoever it is, whether or not they care or feel or desire, there is a place where the public right of way is, and if it's on it, it should be off of it.
The other side also needs to have a letter sent because it's not very accessible for people to turn around as well.
Watching a strong storm
Alright,
moving in.
that's not late at all.
Well, I mean,
Radar.
I could send pissed off letters to anybody you want. But
Well, I don't want to piss anybody off purposely, but if
what? Well, you're taking away my fun.
It just seems like there's not very much room for anybody to do anything down there, and so nobody else should be coming down there except people that live there.
Have you driven down there?
It's very tight, isn't
It's
it?
pretty tight. I tried turning around in my truck down there. It's pretty darn tight.
you can do it in a golf cart pretty easily, but anything
Yeah.
bigger than
Not a
that,
four-door
no.
Chevy truck.
But both sides, he had that blocked off there, and if he's in the wrong, he was totally what
So-
Dolly said would remove
So, I
it.
mean,
But the
both-
other side still is not movable either, so we need to correct that as well.
Yes, and whoever is responsible for both of those, let's track them down and get it done. But this guy shouldn't be able to keep it because the other guy does. I mean, if that's on the city property, it should be removed.
Oh.
I mean, why is it?
The
Why
direct,
is
the same.
Well, the thing is the city, the lake residents, for the most part, I believe they did not want us to mark the city's right of ways and whatnot. So we haven't.
Yeah.
If this is the way people are going to answer, then maybe we need to rethink that.
Well, I still want to mark some of the right of ways because citizens and people that go to the lake, like, they need to have right of ways to get down to the thing. Like, we can't seal it off because somebody owns property above where our property is. We can't be like, sorry, you're not going on our property because so-and-so owns the next property adjacent to it and they don't take kindly to that. No, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's,
If the roles were reversed, it would not.
Okay, so do we know for a fact this is ours? Do we
Yes,
need
it is.
any other
It is.
evidence to say that?
well, I mean,
The only thing
What's
that's
the
in
question?
question now is whether or not that fence on the other side is on
So
city
do we need
property or
a,
not.
like a
This one.
land
How-
appraiser, property
I
land
have
appraiser?
no
the
idea.
only way you would figure out is whether that fence is on the property line or not is you'd have to get it surveyed.
So, yeah.
Well, and
We
he
need to
had,
survey.
Sawyer had his.
Is he
property
lodging a
surveyed,
complaint?
So that,
We're
This
not
is our
talking
red
about Sawyer, we're
line.
talking
Talking
about
about this guy over here.
Oh, I
There's no
know.
line there or there. This
I'm
is
just
all
saying,
us.
is
Had it
this, could
surveyed.
this be wrong
This
or
one
anything?
has.
I wanna
Oh, yeah, it's
confirm that.
definitely wrong.
No.
I mean, that, yeah, the over,
This is ours.
yeah,
For a fact.
yes.
It can't be wrong.
and this is ours
I mean,
for a
it
fact
looks
and
like
it's lost
he's-
as well.
Okay, so, I mean, there's really no debate here. We need to just, like, tell him, no, you can't have that either.
Yeah,
But the
clear it all
fence-
up.
Now he's complaining about the fence next door?
Which
Or-
is this fence
What-
here.
Right on that white line.
And he's saying that it's over where the line is. So he's saying the fence is here, which cuts off the angles for people to turn around where they normally turn around. So he wants this person to move the fence back
I mean,
to where
does
it should
look
be.
like it is.
Well, but you can't,
There's
I mean,
also a
those,
It is,
shed.
it's like right on the
Who's
line.
this whole time?
It doesn't
And
look
I
like-
agree, Stephanie. I absolutely agree that it's on the line because
Mhm.
his driveway is brick and it literally is the line.
So I'm
So
I'm
if he's
confused
off,
with
then
the
his brick
statement,
driveway
I guess.
that has been there for 40 years. is
If
off.
it's our property, he'll remove it. It is, so he needs to remove it.
Well,
What's the
that's-
question?
yeah,
there?
that's the rails and the chairs.
Yeah, we're talking about two different things here.
Yeah, we are.
Well,
Yeah.
that's-
No, I know.
Okay.
On this guy right here,
Yeah,
he says,
exactly.
if it's ours, he'll remove it. Yes, it's ours. Remove it. Why is that even up for debate?
Well, yeah, that's what I was
But is
thinking.
that gazebo?
I don't know what the gazebo is.
That's
You never-
nobody's paying for it, and it's on ours as well, so it needs to go too.
it's gonna go down to the
But-
swimming pool.
Okay,
Kim's moving it.
I guess that's the question. And then, so
You
should
can
we
get
just
to
get a
it.
land
It's not on
appraiser
the-
or
well,
a
there's a tree
land
in the
appraiser,
way
whatever
there.
survey
Yeah,
done
so that, yeah.
for this, or is that a non-issue?
Well, but I mean, you guys tell me you're gonna have to pay somebody
Yeah.
to survey it. I don't think.
Well, what if
that's our
surveys
job.
have been
Do
done
we
already?
really-
This guy did a survey, so maybe this guy did a survey too.
Well,
Paul Shutter,
No, this would be, Keith Smith.
well, if they did a survey, they would have to file it with
The county.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the thing you can do is search to see if there's been any surveys of this area. And I don't know how they find.
I think from history
Hands
of
down
people
there.
buying houses at the lake, they tend to not have surveys when they buy them. Titus being a prime
don't have
example
to.
of that.
Some people do and some people don't.
Well, and I mean, if
But I think as a realtor, you should encourage that since you don't own most
Yeah,
of your
but you can't make
backyards.
people do
A lot of times you don't own the front yards. So don't come whining to us to correct your problem when you chose not to do it. I just think realtors should be more upfront with
You
people.
don't always have to have an inspection on your house, but then they're complaining when something breaks in the house too. So I mean,
But
that's,
it's a clear,
neither here nor
black
there,
and white,
yes.
what you own and what you don't.
I agree with that. But
Cross
that
it.
doesn't-
we have information on the other
I know I
location.
remember
with
the
the
our house when I didn't know.
The owner of the
my
opposite
backyard.
side of
People are
the barn.
crazy. I don't know. Save $150 or I don't know.
Not
I
the
get
fence.
that.
Is that right?
Well, the fence is this one.
I agree with
Yeah, well,
that.
no, I'm sorry. The guy
My
who
old
has the
house, we were
stuff
like,
here.
yeah, we know it's gonna be crap.
Well, is
We're
there
not gonna have
anything
it.
here? I don't know. Is,
That's
There's
what
a
I'm thinking.
bunch of stuff there.
That's what
Is-
Brett's saying,
okay.
that one is blocked as well. So.
Because I.
So
if
then,
you want-
yeah, I have his
Ferris
information
Fair,
too.
let's get his information.
okay.
and I'll
Do
do
we
another
need
one.
to really check on this fence, or do we feel like it's not actually off the line, I guess is the
Well,
question.
I don't know.
Pretty damn on the line, in my opinion. I've been out
It
there
doesn't seem off,
probably 50 times.
But I don't know anything about this.
I mean, you could, I
I
don't
take
see
care
any
of a house
reason why
2
you guys
houses
have to
away
check it
from
unless
it.
you want to. I mean, that's perfect. It's just, I mean, if you've got something that's obviously on city right away, you can ask it to be removed without having to survey the entire area and remove everything that everyone is encroaching by a foot or an inch or 10 feet.
Right.
The people who have stuff on there that's on our easements in violation, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. So it's gone, the other side's gone, and then people, if he wants to come out there and get, show us the property pins or something, or he himself wants to get a surveyor out there to shoot it, I don't care.
So does the other side, do we need pictures of what's over there?
Yeah, I'd like pictures.
I can get those for you.
Yeah, and just pictures
Actually-
and an address.
I might have them.
I have an address.
it's on this phone.
So we don't need to do anything.
Well, I would say I would want to, if you want me to send something, authorize it.
You don't know what
Now,
you want.
I don't want you to send it till we get pictures of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well then,
We're gonna have
if
to.
I
look
get
at
pictures
it.
so that I could draft a letter and bring it to the next meeting. To get all the info. But the word is to the gentleman who's removed the stuff.
That there,
And that could just be done with
yeah, because it's not permanent.
a phone call or
It probably was.
Speaking of that area, we had that dock that is right at, so we're the area that we're talking, Paul Shutter owns the one side, the next side over. The house has been torn down, but the dock with the asbestos siding falling off into the lake with a hole in the roof is still there. And
Does
I think
anybody own that?
it was Jocko's old dock.
Yeah.
And I think we need to make them remove it immediately. I was out at the lake and it, I believe, is Cabin 81's dock is in a similar situation of disrepair right here that is a severe safety hazard because I almost fell through it when I was at the lake the other day. And that's another dock that I think that we need to take action on and have removed, like now.
Buck Avenue.
So when
81,
they,
I believe.
okay, so when they
The
just bought
dock is
Jocko's
between
place, they
80
took
and
the dock.
81, but it's a second tier residence.
Brett,
What?
when they bought Jocko's place, did they take the dock also?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Even if they didn't, it needs to be removed.
Yeah, but they might say they don't own it. Then that's why I was
Well,
asking.
if they don't own it and they don't want to take responsibility for it, then they obviously don't want to ever have a dock, in my opinion.
Yeah, they'd be better off clean it up and then just put.
But this one is
down.
really concerning to me because you can see the concrete is chipping and falling and the concrete pad is now halfway under the water. It's rotting off all over.
Does anybody use it anymore?
No, it's unusable. Like I said, I walked on it and almost fell through.
No, not that big of a-
But I think it needs to have,
someone did pay
Us.
for it if it is 81. That's what I was curious about.
no, it's between 80
Oh,
and
okay, gotcha.
81 and it goes to a second tier cabin.
Gotcha, sorry. Okay.
What's the number on it? Surely the number that, because we took so many letters, right?
No,
Well, then we need to get we can
And
tear it out.
I did talk to one. I did stop and try to talk to both residents who live in between that because it's a second tier dock and I wasn't quite sure where it went to the second tier. The one person said nobody ever uses this dock and has for years have not been used. And obviously you can't. If you went out there to see it, it's pretty rough and bad.
Mm.
But I just don't think we should be allowing unsafe structures on the shoreline like that. And the one dock has been a plague for years. Now this one is here. And I was gonna get in a boat and drive around and see if I could find other ones like it, but I mean, these two for sure.
If somebody doesn't claim a dock, and it's in disrepair, can we tear it out?
Sure.
Did
Okay.
Jocko ever have utilities out there? Or is it just,
Yeah, he lived up.
He lived there.
so then I probably have the number. I can look it up
Okay.
and see if it, if we have a name. And
But I would like to
actually
see
owns it.
both of them removed before Labor Day weekend. And I mean, is it as easy as this, Todd, is if we had to tear it out, we could just assess that to the taxes like we do in town of the person that the cabin that it goes to?
Well, I think there's
Because we know we get that money back.
provision of the ordinance for non-conforming structures is in the lake ordinance. And I can look it up here and see what the procedure is. It's somewhat similar, but in essence, yeah, if you removed it, gave them proper notice, they didn't take it out themselves, you had to remove it, you could assess it.
Great.
I like that. I'm glad we have something in place already. We don't have to come up with it on the fly.
Did that a long time ago.
That was good thinking.
That's all I had there. Oh, I did have one other question. Todd, this one is for you.
Mhm.
A few years ago, we removed our floating dock in the swimming area because it was a liability and insurance reasons why. So my question to you is, what liability to the city and as far as insurance is the rope swing? And I have
Yeah, but the
pictures
city-
of that to show you exactly what it
Well,
looks like.
okay, did we put it up?
We did not put it up,
Uh,
but we have hauled sand to create a beach by it. And we put trash cans down at the area to maintain the area, which is not being done.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Incorrect.
why the,
Oh, I have pictures to show you that as well. So,
Okay.
so
correct.
did the insurance company say something to the effect that they were gonna increase charges unless we get rid of that dock? Because that doesn't correspond with what I understand, because like I've said before, I think the entire lake area is a recreation area. Kansas Tort Claims Act gives you guys an exception for recreation areas, so the recreation area, I mean, it's uniform. And it doesn't matter really if you put it there or not, meaning that covers people if they, just
Fall off the
are running,
merry-go-round.
fall off the merry-go-round, or just running around on a flat piece of ground and trip and fall. If it's a park, it's not on you guys. So I don't think my position would be the rope swing doesn't increase any liability unless it's an open and obvious danger, meaning
People getting hurt, shattering ankles.
yeah, or it's it's got to be obvious. It's got to be like set over the spillway where people are swinging out and leaping 60 feet off of there or something. And,
Laying on the concrete.
yeah, just like jackass style. If that was where it was at, then I would say, yeah, we're probably pushing our luck. But if it's just by the beach or on a tree by the beach or something,
It's not by the beach. It's at the dam.
damn.
Not now, no,
They swing out into very deep water.
Okay.
and they drop off.
Tell Melina Bryan that when she crushed whatever
Well.
she crushed.
Yeah, but didn't she couldn't hold on to it. She shouldn't have swung in the first place. She doesn't physically keep up.
My other concern is the attraction to underage drinking that's going on there.
We got that going on in Eskridge.
That is a concern that I've had brought to me as well. And I have an issue with the fact that we have had law enforcement stop by there and do nothing about it.
I was just saying.
Three,
I heard that.
particularly the same day that we got that great article written about us.
Oh, I don't care about that article.
You
It had a
should.
few truths in it.
They, I agree with you, Tim, that they
My
should, why didn't
issue-
they do something?
My issue with the underage drinking is it's gonna happen whether it happens there, or happens somewhere else, or out in the woods. The issue isn't the underage drinking, it's the fact that the law enforcement doesn't do anything about it. That's what I have such a big problem with. If we get a cop and getting the law to actually do something seems to not happen, and I don't know why.
That's why I've been on the thing about getting a city officer for so long, because I saw their paperwork come through my work when I worked there at the KBI, and they don't fill anything out properly. So how's it going to get charged when it goes to court? It's got to start at the beginning and go all the way through the process. And if you don't have it in the first place on the arrest report or at all, like they're not doing anything. They're not even giving them tickets for drinking or court appeared in court.
The cops showed up at a party at the rope
They
swing.
should have
People
dispersed
left.
it.
They went to Alma and got pulled over and busted there in Alma by Alma police.
And it
Which would
happens.
probably the same
constantly.
police that might have been there to that
Could have
party.
been. And as far as the trash, I know for a fact that our local kids go out there and clean up. They've taken trash
I
bags.
patrolled
out.
it
We,
every single day for 2 weeks straight. And that is not accurate.
I will say
That
this
doesn't-
last time we did get several complaints from lake residents
That
about.
doesn't mean that other people aren't trashing it. The people who frequent it most frequently are cleaning up out there. And why wasn't the trash cleaned up? Does anybody know why the trash wasn't picked up there?
Because it was, so the trash went by there and when he went by, it was like strewn everywhere. So he said, I'm basically not a maid, which I don't blame him at all
I don't
because it
either.
was strewn everywhere. So he took the cans and then the bait shop was told.
Yeah, because
Couple times
so in
to
other words,
pick it up.
he
There's a
does
good
do that.
point. Who is responsible for cleaning that trash up daily?
The bait
Well,
shop.
The thing is that they had a party out there Saturday, a week ago Saturday. They went out the very next day and bagged up all of their trash. I saw the bags. Most of the bags, what's left of the bags, still sitting there leaning against the dumpster. They've been there for a week and a half, still sitting there leaning against the dumpster.
Out there by the swing?
Yeah. The bags are still, like I said, they're there. Top is ripped open because some critter got into them, but they've been there a week plus now.
So is the trash going up to the water tower? It's now been 3 weeks. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna
I'm
pick
going
that
to
up?
suggest, since we're keeping the rope swing and it's not a liability to us, that we need a camera out there, because we have cameras at the swimming area, we have cameras at the bait shop, we have another camera somewhere else out at that area. Why didn't we not have one there?
For the purpose of seeing who's making
Accountability.
the trash. How many cans do we have?
I
out
mean,
there? Do we
when
need
the
more?
city park was being trashed and all that, it was talking about putting cameras there. So logically,
Well,
this is becoming a problem.
We
A
still
good
don't
way
get
to
'em.
patrol it, since we do not have patrolling officers patrolling it, is a
Could
camera.
we go over there and pick up trash by this one? So if we put more trash cans over there, or could we put more trash cans over there?
If we can get them. I know that I was talking to Dave and they were having a problem getting extra dumpsters because he used to have a 3-foot dumpster there right behind the bathroom.
And Exodus ran out. And so we have been like on back order, but
Yeah.
there should be one there now, if not soon. It was supposed to come
And a
a
lot
long
of the
time
big,
ago. They're having a hard time keeping up with trash cans because everybody. I mean,
everybody's home with COVID cleaning out their
Yes.
garage.
Yes, and people have been calling left and right
Yeah.
for additional trash cans. And I'm like, I don't have any.
So then my other question is, do we allow parties of 100 people or more to be at that area? And what is the safety as far as 70 vehicles parked along that area and along the dam? I mean, it's not,
When we had, when we
I
had
mean,
that,
have you driven by there when that's been going
I
on?
drove by the
Do you have
afternoon, that
concerns about
party-
it?
That one party was the only time that I saw it absolutely jam-packed.
Right, and it was unsafe.
It was unsafe.
when it was here in town, and we hired an officer, I sent that officer over to that party. It was, down from the school. And he visited that party 4 times and it had quite a nice effect on the party goers in that they did offer him a sandwich. But then it wasn't very long after that they moved it out into the country. I think they went out to the lake. Now they're back in town. And they also party over by Annie's sometimes. Annie, are they still doing that over by your place?
not gonna comment.
Okay. Well, I just can't, it's hard to keep track.
They've not
They
been
move
lately,
around, yeah. And
but
I thought they were going out to there. But I don't have an officer to send anymore, so.
Well, this huge party they had here a week or more
There were
ago.
3 officers. Judy Martin said that 3
They had
officers
stopped by
went
a few
there.
different times.
Yeah.
And that party was probably a one thing
Yeah.
because it was
There's a memorial.
tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was,
But it'll happen again next year because it's going to be an annual.
you think it will be?
it was a fish fry and memoriam, basically.
Yeah.
And
How many do you think
it was
it will, though?
stated it would be annually.
I don't know.
A correction.
Yeah.
Structures that are removed, they don't, in this ordinance, they aren't assessed against the property, but there is a penalty that has to be paid of $25 a day if the violation continues, and or the fine for the cost of the removal. That's directly billed to the owner, so
But if nobody owns it,
Can we,
Yeah.
it's not the same problem. I mean,
If you have a dock and you didn't transfer it, aren't you still technically the owner of that dock then?
if they've left the,
Well, I mean, if there's no human being alive, we could reach it in zone.
Well, if you were
well,
talking
what
about
happens
dock
if I have a
dock,
house
you
there
still
and I have a dock and then I sell my house to
He
him?
did transfer it to someone.
Okay, just
But
checking.
like where it went from there, I don't know. Cause I'm almost positive
They sold it
when
again.
I first came on that happened. I could be wrong.
Jockus,
Mm-hmm.
it transferred, it's actually, because it's Mike Turnbull's, then Jocko's old place, then Paul Shutter. Paul Shutter now owns Jock. Paul
Oh, he
Shutter's
does.
brother now bought
That's
Jocko's
right.
old place. So it's Paul Shutter's brother that would be his dock.
Okay.
There you
Is
go.
that one of the
There you
rotten
go.
docks?
What?
Is that one of the
But
rotten
what
docks?
happens if,
Yes.
if Paul Shutter's brother,
There you go.
if the dock was never transferred to him? How does that work?
It did,
Todd?
because remember we came
just
in
haven't
here and
abandoned
he wanted to
property
do
on our-
something around the shoreline, and we've already told them they cannot do anything until they remove that dock. That was a year and a half, 2 years ago.
I think that's right. I
I'm
kind
not
of.
talking about this specific scenario. I mean,
Oh.
just in
Just
general.
generally, if it wasn't
What do we
transferred,
do?
I mean, my argument would be that
And you're right.
it taxed to the land. I mean, it's a right of the landowner.
It was the people across
And
the
you
street.
can't divest
One
them of
week
it
ago.
just
Yes.
because you
They
didn't
thought
transfer.
part of the lake.
I mean, officially, the
so.
problem is that they can't
Yeah.
improve it or change it. But I
Which
don't
is
think they
two
get a
houses
free
from south
pass
on the
just
other
because
side.
it wasn't assigned.
Well, if we have to tear it
That
out,
is-
what do we need to do to get from where we are to the point to where if we have to tear out a dilapidated dock and that the monies involved in such process
Well, you
are upon the
you can amend, you just gotta amend the ordinance to say that. I think. You say essentially, you know, in the scenario you would have language in the ordinance that says, if no transfer is on record to a person currently responsible for the dock, something like that, then the last property owner where the dock was attached to or serviced is responsible.
I think that we should move forward with something like that.
Can we include where they've altered the shoreline that the next owner has to keep the maintenance of that and it doesn't fall back on us as well?
Huh?
As far as the
Yeah.
people that have concreted or put stone
Put in
in.
a rock bed or something, they want to just let it go to
Well, the
weeds.
problem with that is once you can open that up, there's always that question of are you allowing then permanent rights in the property? I mean, that's the trade-off is, you know,
Well, I
right
wouldn't want
now,
that trade-off.
yeah, right,
I was gonna say,
Well, right
back
now-
out there.
well, right now, I mean,
Let me
literally,
backpedal.
what I was thinking was that at any particular time, if the city decided that it no longer wanted those items on its property, that it could designate them to be removed. There is no permanent right to have anything on city property. So as soon as we start saying, well, if you do X, Y, Z, you gotta keep it, then there's that expectation. So.
Okay, fair enough.
You're a joy.
Are you talking to me?
No,
I'm talking to you.
talking to him. Because you opened up a can of worms. You just did.
Well, it's a fact. I mean, I
know,
don't want
but,
I don't want anybody
I
to
don't wanna
miss-
go fishing tonight, all right? I don't need a can of worms.
All right, next topic.
I think we're done.
No, we have the
There
lake.
is
No,
one
I'm
more
far
on the
from done.
agenda.
Oh,
I keep adding notes at the bottom.
There is a moderate thunderstorm headed our way in about 30 minutes.
Let it rain.
Yeah,
What
just
about a
FYI.
conservative would take?
I had Stephanie put the lake
No,
public
it's really
officer
liberal.
on the agenda because I had was in City Hall and asked her and Mike about the public officer and what information has been going on and been done and whatever. And they said that Kezia was too busy at the bait shop and she wasn't able to be doing public officer duties at this time. So
If we had a cop, we could have him do our public officer duty, like,
No way. I don't want to pay
No.
cop fees for a public officer. That's ridiculous.
well,
that is
you did with
ridiculous.
John Taylor, and except all of his.
I
We
did.
didn't pay John
It's
Taylor
also hours
$50,000.
away from
Yeah,
actual.
we paid John Taylor
police work.
beans to be a cop, and he did it anyway.
I know.
Maybe he'll do it again.
Well, you
No,
know,
we screwed
what
him.
I was wondering is, what about these kids who applied for, I shouldn't say kids, the people who applied for the mowing job? Wonder if one of
The
them would want to be
contributing
public
tax-paying
officer.
citizens,
The ones that live in town?
contributing tax-paying citizens that we overlooked and didn't mention. But yes,
On what?
I don't know.
The mowing jobs?
You think they'd wanna do that?
I don't know. We need a stinking person to go out there and do some work.
I know the Keys can't do it right now. I don't know if she wanna do it in the wintertime and.
and I wanted to stop and talk to Kezia because I wanted to know if she was still interested in doing it or if she was just
I have
ball
talked to
down
her
with
myself.
time.
What'd
But-
you say?
I still, it's been over a year that we hired a public officer. We need to have something. I mean, I think she could probably do a great job, but if she's busy, we need to find something
Well,
else.
especially working.
Maybe hire a
She is
part-time
so
person.
swamped. She did everything but say, I quit.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that she has not told me that she's not interested or anything like that. She
And
has
that's
just
why I
told
wanted to
me-
talk to her.
Yeah,
and didn't get
she
it
has
done.
just told me that she's busy, so.
So I would say that we could put out for it again. Maybe
What
the
is the
same way
minimum
that we
age
did.
requirement for a position like that, Todd? Does
God, I
it,
think
16
he wants-
years old?
Yeah, I don't know that there's a minimum age.
because all they're doing is gathering information.
Well, I mean, in
Kids?
some respects, you're gonna, that's
I
not
agree,
quite
Holly.
true,
Yeah.
because this, you just brought up the removal of the dock. There's a hearing, the hearing is in front of the, lake
Oh.
officer.
Yeah, don't they give them the,
Yeah.
It's kind of a big
Notices
jump for a
sometimes.
16-year-old, just
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't know. Just
I
throwing
don't
it
want
out
to
there.
start
I
that.
agree.
I'm some angry
Dealing
person.
with the public.
But I think
giving
if we
butt
put up some
chews, yeah.
flyers again, like we advertised for the other things, I think we would probably get other applicants.
Somebody wants something to do over the summer.
Maybe somebody from the lake would like to be the lake public officer.
Called an internship.
There you go.
Speaking of lake, I want to
About
buy some more
branding.
fire rings for the campsites. We bought some, half a dozen of them.
Hold on.
Sorry, so are we,
Advertising a job or no?
Yeah.
so does that mean we're just telling Kay anything?
Are we,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
are
what are
we
you
gonna,
doing?
are y'all
I hear you
gonna,
guys, so I'm
what are
like,
you doing as far as, well, we could get a public officer.
She's not doing
I
anything.
know, what do you wanna do?
I
He's one of
have
those.
You know,
no.
we could just ask her if she's not gonna be able to do it and just let her know that we're not pissed at her or anything.
Yeah, I'm
She
not
can't
upset
do
with
it.
her at all. I understand that her other job that is her main job is definitely
So are you
keeping
looking
her
for a
on her
part-time,
toes.
Temporary?
guy until
Or-
she can do it this winter?
Okay.
I'm not being
Okay.
sexist. I don't care if it's a female either.
A person.
Okay.
Person.
Okay, so
I haven't heard a motion or anything, so I don't know.
I don't know that we
clarification.
need a
No,
motion.
that's just the sense of the council would like to.
So are we looking for a part-time temporary or a part-time permanent? Is my question.
Permanent,
I think it would be part-time permanent.
Yes.
So then you probably should talk to the employee that's still employed.
Right.
And we will.
Who will?
I can,
Okay, I just didn't,
Todd just said at the last
Yeah, Todd
meeting
told us.
just checking.
that
but she just
we
wanted.
have no authority to do that, that it's.
Okay.
Outside,
Alright.
outside of the meeting.
And I've already,
In the meeting, you have,
but yeah, I've had a conversation with her and that's what I pretty much just said,
Okay.
is she's been really, really busy
Okay.
and she feels like she hasn't done the job. But if you still want her to do it, then she would probably pick it up in this fall.
so just,
But if you want it done now, she doesn't have the time.
I mean, we have issues now. We don't have anybody to go out and inspect docks. Mike said he doesn't have enough time to be doing that with all the other stuff that he's doing with gas lines and water lines and like there's a lot he does.
Yeah.
So adding that into the mix or putting it on Drew or Jim, who already have a ton of stuff to do as well. It just
I agree.
and Stephanie certainly cannot be going out to the lake with all that she has to do as well. So we need
You wanna
somebody.
know what I do and why I'm not gonna do public officer for Eskridge anymore? I run the Prairie Wind Department, which is crazy out of my mind. I run my grocery store.
And Prairie
And
Wind
I'm
Department.
70 years old and I'm
No.
done.
Don't open that door.
I
Prairie Wind
know.
Department was on my things to say because if anybody's driven by it, it has not been weed eated in months and the grass is above my waist level and I would like to see
Where's
it
that at? Around
maintained.
by the trees or where?
The entire complex. Go
Well,
drive by
guys are
it.
mowing it.
Mowing, but the weeds around everything are literally above my waist and have been for
Well,
months.
I don't have any, let's see, who did we hire for that? Matt did that.
Matt does that, and a weed eater would do wonders.
Okay.
I'm just saying. It's under our,
Don't we have a weed eater?
Yeah.
so he just needs to be instructed to weed eat as
Okay,
well as
I will
mowing
tell
it.
Mike.
What did he say that he was so directed by the council and the
Okay.
mayor?
And by all means, everybody drive by it to make sure you see what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
no.
Tim, have you driven by it and seen it?
Daily.
Do you agree?
I agree.
It looks
Well,
the
so
worst that
much
it's
for
ever
that
looked.
goat that I went and got to take care of that mom.
Don't eat weeds, not
Don't.
grass.
alright, we're getting weird now. Let's get on the topic here. Are we done with that one?
Yeah,
Fire rings. I want more fire rings out there.
that'd be a good idea.
We bought 6 of them as like a trial to see whether people like the big one or the small one that had a little flip over grill.
They each cost about 120.
How many do we have left?
5, I think.
Did we fish the one out by the new culvert?
Did the
Is that one of
rainwater
the
take
new fire rings that's in the lake, or
I didn't go
just a
down to look at it and swim into it, but like,
Hey,
it
Kim,
looks
did,
like,
did Dave ever talk to you about
there
making
is one
rings
missing,
himself out of
so-
barrels?
talked to me one time, and I asked him if he would go forward with it, and nothing has ever happened. So they don't last real long when they're made out. I think it would
Well,
look
that's
much nicer
true.
if we bought some of these heavy duty ones. But I think we need to
Oh,
get some long stakes.
Yeah.
Go until we hit rock. Because I don't like them walking around from campsite to campsite, or
Yeah,
maybe
those things need to stay
somebody's
put.
trailer.
Go to sleep.
exactly.
But anyway, I was thinking if we could get probably 10 more of them, 5 of one with a flip grill and 5 that are just rings, and they're about $100 each.
Okay, is that a motion?
I'll
Yes.
second.
Is that how many we need?
Oh, we need more than that, but I don't want to bite off too much right away.
Yeah,
It's a good
let's
start.
Just gravel, like where people can park.
Well,
on purpose?
all we need is for somebody
Really
to
quick,
design where the gravel strips are going to be. That's
I have
what
a
we need.
motion and a second. Are we done with discussion? All in favor of buying the, boy, that was quick, 4? All right.
One other quick thing before we leave the lake section. Just as you cross the spillway, you drive across the dam, drive across the spillway, and on the right side, somebody has dumped a couple truckloads of dirt with rock and whatnot in it.
Thank you.
Somebody was dumping gravel over in the spillway. Literally, one pile was in the spillway, one was closer to the rope swing area, whatever. And some construction company took it upon themselves, start parking their trailers and stuff over there by the rope swing area. I talked to Mike. He said he figured he knew who it was. He talked to them. They said he could have the gravel that they dumped over there. What it was, somebody had a gravel driveway. They dug out the gravel and poured in concrete. They thought, well, I'll just go dump this on the city's land and let them deal with it. We did. We took it over. I don't know if you remember, a year
Okay.
ago, we got approval to get gravel at the RV dump site, and it took forever to finally get it, but Mike took that gravel, whatever driveway material, made a bed out of it, and then putting some fresh gravel on top, and the RV dump site is looking real nice now. I'm really, really impressed with the work that he did with that. But I don't know who
Sounds
dumped
like
all
a
that
camera
dirt.
would work for monitoring that as well.
I don't know why people think that they can just dump their stuff on our property, but that's because nobody's looking, I guess. I didn't have a solution or whatever. I just want people to know that that has been taking place, and if it continues and
Do
whatever.
you have any idea where the dirt came from?
I do not. I just
Did they
noticed it
think we needed it?
hasn't been there long. It's not, they just, okay, as you're driving it through the spillway and you're going up the
Which
other
way?
side towards that, who
north
owns
or
that
south?
big house? You have
The
to-
FBI.
Okay, I know.
Please,
I
Nancy.
okay, I know.
Yes.
On the right-hand side where there's a steep hill, I don't even know how in the heck they got their truck there to dump the 2 loads.
Did they dump it there? Cause that's where the RVs were going? Because I heard complaints about people going like this.
Oh, no, not right
No,
there.
okay,
No,
all right.
no, there's no trails there or anything. And besides, if you popped up over that, you'd be right in somebody's yard.
Well, I'm sure they wouldn't care about that anyway.
So do we or don't we want a trail cam there so we can see who's
Do
dumping
you think
stuff
it'll stay there or
illegally?
will it walk away?
Will we be able to see it walking away, right? It's a camera.
I thought the
They
issue
don't
with cameras
cost that
everywhere
much.
was that it doesn't connect to the internet. It's too far away.
But it would connect to a phone or
It's pretty
something else.
I don't know how that works with trails and ones. I think you can have, there's some that have an app on your phone, but I don't know who would monitor that.
My
Might
very
be
final
able-
thing that I wanted to point out on a positive note,
I
has
don't see
anybody
any of
noticed
this
that
on
we
here.
have falcons in town?
Yes.
Right behind the grocery store and Mike Bones' mom's big old elm tree. They're nesting in there and they're leaving bird carcasses all over my yards, but they're really cool. They're laying on the utility poles in the alley and screech and screech and screech.
Are they the ones that are they going after the pigeons or we've had a lot of chickens
These are not the
getting killed.
falcons that are down at the Westard building. This is a kestrel, which is a lot smaller, and they
Okay.
feed on small birds. And thank God, they're eating starlings.
Yeah, I've had starlings out at my house and the starlings have hit my windows on my house like 4 times today, getting away from those cookers. I know.
Anyway,
Let's get to the
It's like-
juicy stuff, Todd.
yeah,
Come
let's
on.
get to it.
Oh, well, that was just, I just handed the council a copy of the answer that was filed by McGivern. Accordingly, since we sent them the letter saying no, thank you. Go. Just basically, just so you can see how that it's moving along. That's their response.
All right.
It says.
And if we win this, then do they pay your salary or are you, or not?
Well, no, they just removed everything. I'll see about trying to get my fees out of it.
That would be nice.
If we have nothing else, I'll move to adjourn.
Oh, second.
No, I thought we were doing that meadow bid, right?
Yes, I do have it down here.
Atta
I
girl.
wrote it down.
Wow.
It was on the agenda. I'm like the last thing to just.
Okay, I move that we give the bid to the highest bidder after the second,
What if somebody else
with a
turns another
deadline
one
of
in?
1 week.
In 1 week.
So
Thank
what
you
if
for the
somebody else
timeline.
puts in another bid?
It's higher than they win.
Then they win.
With a deadline of 1 week. We've never set a deadline on it.
So that's.
Highest.
I'll second.
The highest bid within.
In
1
order
week.
to get it mowed before the 4th of July is the goal. that
So
we're having,
someone
right?
did put,
That's a good stipulation.
Because
yeah.
we
Can
need
we-
them to mow it soon, not just
Can we do that?
do the bid.
or
Sure.
so someone did put in the bid that, and it said like whatever price, and then it said, or $50 over. So is that automatically get it? But they didn't put like a max price. That's what I said. So like, how high?
Now they're doing it.
If there's no maximum price on there. it
There's
said-
no maximum
Said the
price.
highest bid plus 50, then they're taking their chances, so.
Okay.
Might want to call them and verify, I guess, before giving them the bid over.
If you want to be nice about it, that's fine. If you want to be cutthroat.
Now, was that a hypothetical question?
I guess
No,
I'm
someone really did that.
nicer than us.
Like a previous
Oh,
year or?
Okay, we're
No, this.
we're venturing off here. What was the motion? Is the motion to take the highest bid conditional upon doing it by July 4th?
Yes,
What he said.
I second.
By July.
Deadline being 1 week from today.
Yeah, 1 week from today. That was it.
That doesn't
Which
give
is-
someone a whole
You
lot of
get
time
that?
to go cut that and get all the.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but it's not that.
But we
big
wanted it
area.
cut before,
Yeah.
that was the whole reason we've had this whole
And I think that's
conversation.
Why do we
why,
do a week or do we do like?
I think that's why the,
I don't know.
one of the people asked me, because they wanted to.
Yeah,
know
should
if we
we?
do it.
Yeah, do it
We
shorter.
only give
I retract my motion. Let's do
And
the same thing except for the deadline is not 1 week. The deadline will be
Friday.
Friday.
Thursday.
Even better.
this.
I'll
Thursday?
second.
The 25th. Yes, because we want it mowed before, that only gives them a
Alright,
week
today
and a
is-
half to mow it.
Oh, you mean for the bid?
It's
That's
okay,
what
but
we did.
I'm
wait,
sorry, I thought you were.
and this is all pending whether this isn't something.
Right.
Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
you
we're
hang
not gonna
down
be
and it
unreasonable
rains,
about it.
I mean, I'm sorry.
We're
I'm
not
not
just
gonna
saying-
take thought
we
on
just
them if
want
they
it
don't
to
get
get-
mowed by.
And pay
They
Pastor before.
We're just
so-
trying to get it mowed by the 4th, weather
Okay.
permitting.
Reason, yeah.
Okay.
we have to
For
be
some
reasonable.
reasonable safety.
And this, we've
Measures.
asked plenty, we've done, this has been a long time since we
Second.
posted that.
I did second. I
We've
second
been
again.
Okay.
All right, all in favor of what we came up with?
Is this the vote to adjourn?
I
No,
don't
that was the-
know.
no, that was the vote.
That was
For
it.
the allowance of the.
And now I need a, motion to,
I moved to adjourn. Are we done?
Wait.
when she
Let
can't.
Mama
catch
get
up.
us.
No, I can't.
You got it? Okay.
Got it.
Second.
All in favor?
You're here.
On delay.
On delay, remind me, good story. Baby, mean old
Does he
Mr.
carry a gun?
McGivern. He built stock in his.
His cousins did, right? Didn't he have a couple
He's faster than a speeding bullet, so I mean, you know.
There you go.
And the city sued him. and they
Tim, I
couldn't
was gonna
sue
ask
him.
you, do you work with a guy named Barry
Bedtime
Kenyon? Yes, sir.
I
Okay,
don't think anybody-
I thought he worked there. He's my cousin.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
What?
Uh-huh.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary's good
Yeah,
people. I like
his
him.
mom
No, we're
and
still
my
on-
dad were
on-
half brother and sister.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I like his whole family.
Oh, yeah. That's brother Joe works at it.
Felt bad about
Oh,
it.
is that right? I didn't know that.
Did it-
Yeah, Joe's been there as long as Gary has.
He's
They've
not
both
been a
been there
good
forever.
neighbor,
Okay.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Old Slim.
I heard they like
Yeah,
party.
their whole family.
Family.